Well, Kristen, as you saw the president say, we hadn't discussed it. We still haven't discussed it, by the way, because it's not realistic, Kristen. I think that was the point that he made during the debate is he's been incredibly clear that he doesn't support a national abortion ban. He wants abortion policy to be made by the states because he thinks, look, Alabama's going to make a different decision from California, and that's okay. We're a big country. We can disagree. The best way to actually facilitate us coming together, despite that disagreement, is by allowing each individual state to make their own abortion policy. So I think President Trump has been clear. A national abortion ban is not on the table. He wouldn't support it. He wouldn't sign it. And I think, frankly, Kristen, it's kind of a ridiculous hypothetical because if a national abortion ban was brought before the United States Senate right now, it would get at best 10 senators out of 100. So I think we should talk about issues that actually might come before the president, like our approach to lowering energy prices, to lowering grocery prices, to making housing more affordable, which all have gone in the wrong direction under Kamala Harris's policies. His point is that it was a hypothetical and not a hypothetical that has any chance of actually crossing his desk.
I take your point, but just to put a fine point on this, you're saying he wouldn't support it. So would he veto it?
Kristen, I think that I've learned my lesson on speaking for the president before he and I have actually talked about an issue.
Yeah, good point. You want to put JD Vance and Trump against each other to create this massive, gotcha moment. It's crazy, man. It's stupid. You can tell. I don't even know how JD Vance has the patience just to go to these interviews. You already know this is going to be fire. You're going to go against the fire. I guess this is where you really build your courage, I guess.
What he has said at the debate, which is quite explicit, is he doesn't support a national ban. He thinks it's ridiculous to talk about vetoing a piece of legislation that isn't going to come before the president in the first place.
All right, let's zoom out a little bit, Senator, and talk more broadly about the issue of health care. Former President Trump said on the debate stage he had, quote, concepts of a plan to replace the Affordable Care Act. Here is what he has said, though, in the past. Look.
We're going to have a health care plan that's going to be second to none. We have 2 plans coming out.
We already have the concept of the plan. We'll be announcing that in about 2 months, maybe less.
Senator, can you clarify what is Donald Trump's health care plan?
Well, first of all, Kristen, let's back up a little bit to 2017, 2018, when Obamacare was actually collapsing under the weight of the regulatory burdens and collapsing under the weight of lack of funding. And Donald Trump had 2 choices. He could have destroyed the program, or he could actually build upon it and make it better so that Americans didn't lose a lot of health care. He chose to build upon a plan, even though it came from his Democratic predecessor. And I think it illustrates Donald Trump's entire approach to governing, which is to fix problems, even if he may have disagreed with the original legislation, to fix the American people's problems, not just to blow things up because it happened to be implemented by your predecessor. And frankly, I wish Kamala Harris would take a similar approach on things like the Abraham Accords, which she has not built upon at all, despite the fact that it's built a lot of peace in the region and could build more. But what President Trump's health care plan is actually quite straightforward. Is you want to make sure that pre-existing coverage conditions are covered. You want to make sure that people have access to the doctors that they need.
Super clear. Since I know Trump is very clear on that, but they just keep bringing this stuff up so many times. It's insane.
And you also want to implement some deregulatory agendas so that people can choose a health care plan that fits them. Think about it. A young American doesn't have the same health care needs as a 65-year-old American. A 65-year-old American in good health has much different health care needs than a 65-year-old American with a chronic condition. We want to make sure everybody is covered, but the best way to do that is to actually promote some more choice in our health care system and not have a one-size-fits-all approach that puts a lot of people into the same insurance pools, into the same risk pools, that actually makes it harder for people to make the right choices for their families.
Senator, you mentioned Obamacare. 20 million people are currently getting their health care through Obamacare. I guess the question is, and you're laying out some benchmarks here, but why should voters believe that a plan is forthcoming when you've heard Donald Trump say so many times in the past that he's going to be putting forward a plan? It still hasn't happened yet.
Well, because Donald Trump actually governed, Kristen, for 4 years, and he actually protected those 20 million Americans from losing their health coverage. He actually protected a lot more additional Americans from losing their health coverage, and he actually ensured that a lot of people were able to access coverage for the first time. I mean, members of my own family, for example, got health care for the first time under Donald Trump's administration. So we actually have a real record to run on. He, of course, does have a plan for how to fix American health care, but a lot of it goes down, Kristen, to deregulating the insurance market so that people can...
Yeah, Obamacare is just a disaster because before Obamacare, if you had your private plan, you only pay like a couple $100, right? Now there's people almost paying... Well, if you have a family of 5, you might be paying $1,200 or $1,500 a month if you have your own private healthcare. It's insane.
Choose a plan that actually makes sense for them.
All right,
we have to, on the one hand, fix the problems of Obamacare, while on the other hand, Kristen, making sure that people continue to have good choices.
Okay, so what I hear you're saying is Obamacare stays in place. Let me move to another topic.
Wow, she
there
said
was
that.
a lot of attention, as you know, this week on former President Trump's baseless claims about migrants eating pets in Springfield, Ohio, claims you first shared online, Senator, earlier this week. Local authorities now say there have been no credible reports of migrants hurting pets or animals.
Bullshit.
And in fact, neo-Nazis are now taking credit, frankly, for pushing these rumors mainstream. Why are you continuing to double and triple down on these baseless claims?
Well, 2 important points here, Kristen. First of all, I have heard firsthand from multiple constituents, people who made 911 calls a month ago, a year ago, who were making these complaints. I trust my constituents more than I do the American media that has shown no interest in what's happened in Springfield until we started sharing cat memes on the internet, which is disgraceful that the American media ignored this town. And that's the most important part. Kamala Harris's open border, Kristen, has led to skyrocketing housing costs in Springfield, rising rates of crime, rising rates of communicable diseases. They have dropped 20,000 immigrants into a town of 40,000, and it's caused a host of social problems. And we should be talking about why Kamala Harris has done this to this small town, and the media and the Democrats ignored it for an entire year. Kristen, I was talking about this on the Senate Banking Committee months ago. Nobody would pay attention to it until we started sharing the 911 calls of people in Springfield.
And all of a sudden, they went quiet. They went quiet. But now they're not saying it's not true. They're saying, but why talk about it? Why talk about it when these people are talking about it? Now they're not denying it. Now they're asking why you're talking about it. Why talking about it? It's just interesting. All these illegal immigrants coming from third world countries, they mess up your air, you mess up your community, and you report that, and all of a sudden nobody believes you. It's insanity. It's literally a system that is portrayed to self-destruct your own areas, your own communities. And if you talk about it, you're racist and all that stuff. Stupid.
Field saying the migrants are eating the geese.
And yet,
I think that's really, really shameful that no one cared about it or paid attention to it.
And yet, Senator, officials, the mayor, other local officials have said there's just no evidence of what you're saying, that it's baseless, those claims. Can't you just make your argument about immigration without making those claims, Senator? Why not just make an argument about immigration? Why do you have to delve into repeating these baseless claims that, again, Senator, have been repeated by neo-Nazis?
Kristen, I hear you saying that they're baseless, but I'm not repeating them because I invented them out of thin air. I'm repeating them because my constituents are saying these things are happening. I mean,
but there's no
yesterday,
evidence.
A video came out of a migrant 30 miles away eating a cat. Clearly, these rumors are out there because constituents are seeing it with their own eyes, and some of them are talking about it. Now, look, we also have to talk about and should primarily talk about the effects that this has had on car insurance rates, on disease rates. Those are the things that I'm spending 95% of my time talking about, Kristen. But again, the media didn't care about this story until we started sharing the 911 call about the geese. That is an indictment of the American media. But the real problem here, Kristen, let me just finish this point, is Kamala Harris opened the border with no plan for how to assimilate 20,000 people.
Yeah, crazy.
It's made the community worse.
Crazy. dropping 20,000 people in a community of 60,000. That's insane, man. Insane, bro. And you're supposed to take it. Hey, Americans, we're supposed to take it. We just simply supposed to take it. Shut up, you dumb American. You're supposed to take it.
That's what we should be focused on.
Senator, I have to say, though, that the mayor from Dayton in that video that you're talking about and police chief responded forcefully to that new video you just referenced. They say there's absolutely no evidence to even remotely suggest that immigrants are eating pets. Let me just...
Really? Would you believe this? People from the third world countries, they come to first world country and they don't do anything. They're not, you bring them from their state of mind living in their current country to a new country, and you're expecting them to just behave normal. Use logic, people. We have to use logic. People that have been living in a country for years and years with certain behaviors, move them to a place that's called the first world, and they're supposed to be acting first world instantly. No, come on now. I'm gonna leave the rest of the interview in the description down below. But JD Vance is not kneeling. He's not backing down. He's just staying in message because he knows what's up. He knows the truth need to be spread. But now they're not negating it. Now they're saying, well, why talking about immigration without mentioning this? Why can't you just simply talk about immigration without mentioning the fact that the federal government just dropped 20 to 30,000 Haitian immigrants in that region? These people have a bad agenda. And I'm going to say it, they just want to eliminate the current demographic of the United States. It's clear, people. It's so clear. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next one.